Hey everyone, this is Alex from Influenced LA, and this is our official AEW All-In preview and predictions. That's right, in this video we're going to be breaking down the entire match card, match by match with detailed analysis, and also we're going to include how we would book the match card for the folks there in Wembley, depending on how we think the card is actually going to play out on pay-per-view on Sunday. We are, of course, going to be also breaking down the pre-show first, which is also going to include the guys who are in the main event, MJF and Adam Cole. They are going to be teaming up to challenge for the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships in the pre-show. So we're going to get right into it. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe now. Feel free to drop any of your guys' previews and predictions. We really appreciate the feedback. And yeah, let's get into it. So again, Aussie Open is going to be challenging Better Than You Baby. Adam Cole and MJF are going to be challenging Aussie Open for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships. That's going to be taking place on the AEW buy-in pre-show. Again, that is free to watch, 9 a.m. on Sunday, Pacific time, 12 Eastern time. That's going to be on YouTube. It'll be free. And then the pay-per-view itself starts at 10 a.m., 1 p.m. Eastern time. And that's going to cost $49.99 on Bleacher Report or your cable or satellite providers. All right, guys, so getting into it. Obviously, this match has a lot of huge implications because of what it could potentially mean in terms of what happens later in the night in the main event between MJF and Adam Cole. So obviously, it's one of the most highly anticipated main events of all time. And so this match taking place on the pre-show is a little interesting in like how they're going to work the dynamics of that. So the biggest thing is the storyline here is probably one of the best in wrestling currently at the moment. It's definitely the best thing going in AEW, this whole bromance going on between MJF and Adam Cole. In this match, it can go a lot of different ways. I've seen a couple people pick MJF and Adam Cole to actually win it. I've seen a lot of people pick Aussie Open to retain. Personally, we're going to be thinking that there's going to be a little bit of a mix-up that potentially costs them the championship, but I think it's going to be like a disqualification or some type of easy out for him. But it's just hard because if not, I don't see either of these guys taking a pinfall before the main event. So in that case, we might actually be looking at Adam Cole and MJF winning the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championship, which is a championship Adam Cole has never held. It's the only Ring of Honor championship he's never held. And then it adds even a more interesting dynamic going into the main event. So then you have your Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships battling each other for the AEW World Championship. And so it's just a very, very, if you really want to take the best storyline approach and then keep people on the edge of their seats leading into the main event, personally, I think I'm going to go with Better Than You Baby to win the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships in the AEW buy-in pre-show. I feel that if they hit a double clothesline, the 80,000 in attendance are going to completely blow the roof off of Wembley Stadium. And then you guys are going to be looking at just an unbelievable scene when the 1, 2, 3 count hits. And also if MJF hits the kangaroo kick. If he actually hits a kangaroo kick, I can already tell you that entire crowd's going to lose it. Especially if he hits it against the Aussie Open guys. So at Influence LA, we're officially going to be going with MJF and Adam Cole, Better Than You Baby, to win the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships. And that'll be on the AEW buy-in pre-show. I think that's going to be a good ploy to kind of get people that are tuning in to want to buy the pay-per-view. And then, so moving forward, there will be another match on the pre-show. We will see MJF and Adam Cole again later on. They're going to be battling in the main event for the AEW World Championship. So then we're going to be looking at Jack Perry and Hook for the FTW Championship. That's going to be the other match on the buy-in pre-show. A lot of storyline here, of course. The FTW Championship is actually it was created by Hook's father, Taz, the legendary ECW legend. So obviously Jack Perry won it against Hook. It was Hook's first official loss on the AEW roster. Hook and Jack Perry are definitely the future, two future huge stars for this company. Jack Perry, of course, very talented, just kind of got going on his heel run. But everything kind of makes sense for Hook to win the championship back and potentially retire it with his dad in Wembley Stadium. So we're going to definitely be going with Hook to win the FTW championship. And that seems like a bit of a stretch because now you're having 2 championship changes on the pre-show already. So then it's probably likely that Aussie Open will actually retain. But we're going to stick by it, and we're going to have Hook winning the FTW Championship against Jack Perry in the pre-show, and then he's going to retire it. Good send-off moment right before we hit live at 10 a.m. for the live pay-per-view. So now we are going to be transitioning into the main card. And again, guys, so this is how we would actually book the AEW All-In main card if we were the booker for the crowd there in Wembley. And we're going to kind of go over each one, why we would do it. Starting out the main card, we're going to be coming with CM Punk versus Samoa Joe for the AEW Real World's Championship. The reason we're going with this one to open up the show, you have 80,000 people already there in attendance. You have a lot of people tuning in. This is, I believe, the second or the most pre-bought pay-per-view of all time for AEW. You're going to have a lot of people word of mouth tuning in now, jumping in. And I think the easiest way to get it done is you kick it off with CM Punk and Samoa Joe, very notable names in the wrestling industry for well over 20 years. They're going to be capping off, hopefully, the end of their rivalry that's been going on ever since the Ring of Honor days. Either way, it should be a great opener match. The crowd will be hot. Necessarily not the storyline right now currently going on with them in AEW, but they have the 20-year history, so it kind of makes up for it. Definitely a match deserving, probably in their eyes, of being in Wembley Stadium. So if we had to really break it down, it should be a great old style classic wrestling match, and they never have a bad match with each other. But if the Real World Championship is on the line, CM Punk's not losing that until him and MJF get a chance to go at it. So we're going to be sticking with CM Punk to retain the AEW Real World's Championship in the opener for AEW All In. And then that should transition and open him up potentially for something we're going to go over a little bit later on in the card. We're hoping for All Out in Chicago. There's definitely going to be a huge match everyone wants to see, so we're going to see if that ends up happening. So in our second match, we're going to have the AEW the World Trios Championships on the line. That's right. So we would have the Trios Championship match come out next with the House of Black versus the Acclaimed. I feel that if this isn't the second match on the card, this will be the one that opens the card, just because Max Caster will get that crowd going with his rap. And we're going to have a badass Billy Gunn come into the UK, so it should be really cool to see how that all happens. This one, it's on paper, it looks like it's kind of like, okay, well, they gave him their moment. This is just kind of like a shoe-in now. It's like the end of the Acclaim's run. Billy Gunn's career is kind of done. House of Black should retain. There's something about why I'm going back to a couple months ago when they cut that promo about getting Billy Gunn gold before he retires, and something told me it was always going to lead to something at Wembley. I just didn't know how we were going to get here. And now that we're here and they actually pulled the trigger and he's in a title match in front of 80,000 people, I think he wins the championship. And this is kind of where he's going to retire because he got the win. And then if you wanted to do something cool, maybe like throw Wardlow or someone or Keith Lee with the Acclaimed, and then now you have him kind of be the honorary person that's going to kind of fill in Billy Gunn's shoes, and now they run forward as a trio, and then Billy Gunn can ride off into the sunset. Again, House of Black has had a tremendous reign, and by no means should their title reign come to an end, probably at least for the next 6 months. But if they are going to pull the trigger, the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn's storyline and situation seems like it's the best case scenario right now, and you give the fans a title change right out of the gate. So yeah, let's do it. The Acclaimed are going to defeat the House of Black for the AEW World Trios Championships. And then moving on, we're going to have Darby Allin and Sting versus Swerve Strickland and Christian Cage. Now, of course, Christian Cage has been substituted in this match earlier this week due to AR Fox having, I believe, travel issues. They wrote him out of on the storyline purposes. He was basically kicked out of the Mogul Embassy as the reason he can't be in the match. So now it's going to be Darby Allin and Sting. They've never lost as a tag team, and that is not going to start now. They will defeat Swerve Strickland and Christian Cage. I do expect Christian Cage and Luchasaurus, however, to set up something for Darby Allin in his match at All Out next week. So they're going to get the best of Darby, maybe injure him a little bit in some capacity, leading a little bit of doubt if he can actually get the job done going into the show next week. And, this is, for me, this is a lot about Sting. This is going to be the biggest crowd he's ever performed in front of, besides the WrestleMania he did with the WWE. And no one's a greater icon in the industry. No one's a better person. So he definitely deserves this. And what he's done for Darby over these past couple of years working with him, definitely looking forward to seeing how the reaction and just how he takes it all in. He definitely deserves it. So yeah, we're going to be going with Darby Allin and Sting to defeat Swerve Strickland and Christian Cage. And then moving on, the fourth match on the card, we would have the Stadium Stampede match take place. This is going to be the Blackpool Combat Club, which consists of Wheeler Yuta, Claudio Castagnoli, and Jon Moxley. And they're going to be teaming with the returning Santana and Ortiz. They returned earlier this week on AEW Dynamite. And then they're going to be taking on the Best Friends with Orange Cassidy, which we'll pop these on now that we said the name. Let's go Orange Cassidy. That's right. And then they're also going to be teaming with Pento El Zero and Eddie Kingston. So we're not going to spend too much time on this one just because Stadium Stampede is going to be complete anarchy. You know what you expect. There's going to be blood. There's going to be guts. I mean, it's not a blood and guts match, but it's basically the same thing. The Blackpool Combat Club, they're probably the most vicious group right now in pro wrestling in terms of the actual physical matches they have and the gruesome brutality that they kind of bring to the table. So if we had to pick one right now, we're going to go with Blackpool Combat Club and Santana and Ortiz to win this match. I feel it's potentially either going to set up Jon Moxley versus Orange Cassidy for the AEW International Championship next week at All Out, or we're going to have Jon Moxley versus Eddie Kingston for All Out set up through this, which if they ever get into a ring together one-on-one, that match is probably going to be the bloodiest match in the history of the company. There might be there's going to be something, man, in that match. That match would be awesome. But that's not happening at this showcase. So again, yeah, we're going with Blackpool Combat Club and Santana Ortiz to defeat the Best Friends, Penta El Zero, and Eddie Kingston. Moving on to the next match, we're going to have Chris Jericho versus Will Osprey. So this match got a lot of people talking online because Will Osprey is, of course, probably the number one wrestler arguably in the world right now. He's at the top of his game. He's best condition he's ever been in. And there's a lot of talk if Chris Jericho can actually keep up with him in this match. Chris Jericho is out to prove everyone wrong and that he can deliver a classic with the best in the world right now. Chris Jericho's band Fozzy will be playing his theme live. So that should be a pretty cool sight with 80,000 people singing along. But Will Ospreay in the UK, number one wrestler in the world, we're not picking against him. This should solidify him as a main man. He would have beaten Kenny Omega, Kazuchika Okada, and Chris Jericho in 2 months, in the span of all under 2 months, those three legends. It's going to put him on another level. His contract's expiring in 6 months. He's most likely coming to AEW. Don't rule out WWE. But yeah, Will Ospreay and Chris Jericho, this could end up being the sleeper match of the night. Just because if Chris Jericho, man, if he has anything left to prove, it would just be, can you still have a Chris Jericho 25-year-old match at 50 years old with Will Ospreay, who's arguably just as good, if not better, than Jericho was at his prime. So again, we're going to be going with Will Ospreay, though, to win. And moving on, we're going to be having the AEW World Tag Team Championships on the line. This will be FTR defending the championships against the Young Bucks and what is one of the most highly anticipated trilogy matches of all time. This is supposed to be the trilogy. It's the rubber match. Young Bucks won, FTR won. It's one of those, this is going to take place in front of 80,000 people when the first one only took place in front of 2,000 people because of COVID. I remember watching that one thinking that, wow, these guys are, they're two of arguably the best tag teams of all time. They're always going to be synonymous with each other just because the Young Bucks The FTR name kind of came from the being the elite channel as a catchphrase. So if we really had to get down to the brass tacks though and pick who we think's going to win, we're going to go with the Young Bucks winning this match. Obviously, Cash Wheeler has the legal issues going on right now. We're not going to touch too much on that. It seems like it's not too much of a big deal. He's allowed to travel to the UK to compete in this match. But yeah, if we're picking someone, we thought the Young Bucks were going to win anyway, but with that kind of on the horizon, we definitely think this is the Young Bucks match to win. And they are going to solidify themselves as one of the greatest tag teams of all time with a huge championship win in front of 80,000 people. And it's going to be awesome, man, for just two of the original 4 guys that kind of had the original concept of All In 4 years ago, to celebrate them on this night with 80,000 now, plus with millions millions of people, just like around the world tuning in. This is going to be awesome, man. It's just going to be really good to see them get their moment. And then moving on into our next match, we're going to have the Golden Elite, which consists of Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi with Hangman Page taking on Kazuchika Takeshita and Bullet Club Gold, which is Jay White and Juice Robinson. If we had to pick this one, this is a little bit one of the tougher matches to pick just because momentum-wise, everyone seems like they can use it. Going into next week's show, obviously, this is supposed to maybe set up Kenny Omega's match with Takeshita. But when I look at a match like this, it's who can actually eat the pin. And the only one I can see eating the pin in front of 80,000, all these guys could technically do it, but I think the easiest one would be someone like Juice Robinson, maybe taking the pinfall to someone like Ibushi while Omega and Takeshita are battling, or something around those regards. So I'm going to go with the Golden Elite to win this match here. This should be a huge moment for Kenny Omega. He's probably going to get the biggest ovation of the night, next to maybe MJF and Adam Cole and some of those other guys. Maybe Will Osprey as well, but Omega is just so beloved overseas. He's considered arguably one of the best wrestlers in the world for the past 10 years, 15 years. So yeah, he's one of my personal favorites. Seeing him get an entrance in front of 80,000, that's going to be awesome. It's going to be a sight to behold. He deserves it. And I just hope he really soaks it in. It sucks that we're not getting him in a singles match, but hey, man, I'll take what I can get. If I get Kenny Omega in any capacity, that's a good capacity. And then, so transitioning, we only got 2 matches left. This co-main event, if you will, or the second to last main event, or the second to last match, is the AEW World's Championship, or Women's World's Championship. It's going to be Hikaru Shida versus Sahara versus Toni Storm versus Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Instantly, Sahara from the UK jumps out on the page, and Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, getting a huge moment in front of 80,000 because she's been kind of the person they built the women's division around ever since the original All In. It's a toss-up between those two for me personally. And then I think the easier one would actually be to maybe have Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, win it. And then, because I think you can have Saraya, Toni Storm, and Ruby Soho kind of start to venture off with Chris Statlander and kind of tackle the TBS championship. Sahara getting the moment would be cool, but you know what? Yeah, we're going to actually do that. We think Sahara, it might even be a situation where Sahara will pin maybe like a down Sheeta or a down Britt Baker, and maybe after Toni Storm has done the damage or somewhere around there might be a little conflict of interest between the outcasts. And yeah, we'll give Sahara, you guys know, we'll have her winning the AEW Women's World Championship at AEW All In. It's probably going to be a wild card pick. Her doing it in front of the crowd doesn't seem like it's unrealistic. It gives them a championship, and then it kind of gives them a whole ploy to kind of go after Chris Statlander so they can have all the gold. Plays into the storyline a little bit better. And then, so we're going to go with Sahara to win. And then we're going to be now going over the main event, which is going to be MJF versus Adam Cole for the AEW World Championship. The biggest main event and the biggest wrestling show of all time. Obviously, this has been the storyline of the summer. You can't really pick, you can't go wrong picking either guy here. Obviously, Roderick Strong and the Kingdom are going to play a factor in some capacity, one would think. Obviously, a lot of this is contingent on what happens in the pre-show when they battle for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships. Just off the top, and if we're having to pick someone, we're gonna go with MJF to retain. We don't know how it's gonna happen. We don't know who's gonna turn on who. That's what makes this storyline one of the best in wrestling right now. It's completely unpredictable. We don't know if MJF or Adam Cole are going to turn on each other. Again, just the sight alone of those two sharing the ring. Adam Cole's in the prime of his career, arguably. MJF is only 25 years old, and he's in the main event of the biggest wrestling show of all time in front of 80,000 plus, defending his world championship. Couldn't be happier for those two guys. Couldn't be happier for two guys that deserve it more than those two guys right there, man. And we can all get behind that. It should be an awesome sight. Again, it's just completely unpredictable. We're not even going to try and predict who turns, because it's just, we don't want either one to turn. If someone does turn, it's going to be such great television and cinema. So yeah, the show is going to be an awesome ride. Definitely encourage everyone to get out there and watch it. Again, that's going to be Sunday, tomorrow. And it's going to start at 10 a.m. football time. 10 a.m., guys. It's football's here early, essentially. Just substitute football for the AEW All-In show. Again, it's just going to be a great show. We're going to have MJF retaining the World Championship in the main event. That's how we feel the card's going to go. But let us know your guys' thoughts and opinions, what your guys' previews and predictions are. We'd love to hear your feedback. Anything you guys might want to add, or anything you guys might want to throw in, any potential surprises you guys might think might happen. I remember seeing something about Grotto a couple of weeks back. For anyone who knows Grotto and wrestling in the UK, not a guarantee, but yeah. Again, so yeah, feel free to throw anything you guys might want down in the comment section. Like and comment. Like and subscribe. And yeah, we appreciate you guys tuning in, and we'll see you again tomorrow with our AEW All-In post show. We're going to be breaking down every single match that happened on the card and all the results and what it means going forward. So again, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and tap the bell notification so you can tune in for that. We appreciate all the support, and yeah, peace, guys.